Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be back in the studio as always. Today is a lovely Sunday with no scheduled anything. So well, looks like we might be able to do some good chunk of work today. Victim of War is getting so close to being released. I'm excited to finally get that out there. I know Pseudonym is too, who's doing the vocals. Um, let's get right into it. Let's see. I guess we need to fire up the doll first. Oh man. A little brief introduction if you're just hopping into this for the first time. I am a composer. The artist name I go by is DefCello, where def is a keyword from the programming language Python. Cello is, of course, the musical instrument that I happen to play, and I consider it my main instrument at this point. And it reflects the hybrid nature of the music that I create. So, as a composer and producer, uh, I create music that usually has some hybrid of classical instruments and computer electronic instruments. And that's where I am. That's what I do when I am not a software engineer, which is my main job. And so I don't do this for money. I do this because I love music and I love creating music. And I love listening to the music that was created, along with other people's, of course. But that's where we are today. And the track I'm working on now, usually we'll work on one track at a time and really just laser focus in on that one because I do have very limited time available to commit. And so when I do have that time, I find that the focus makes sure that something happens within a scale of years. The last major track that I did from scratch was Blue Ridge Spring, which was an orchestral piece designed for live performance. But of course, I generated the recording first as a way to understand the ideas that were happening and get them all down, hash it all out, hear how it sounds with as good a possibility as I can without an actual live orchestra available. And so that started in something like 2017 and it released early last year. 7 years. So it's a slow process, a lot of distractions, but I've really been pushing hard lately. If you see the release dates on my YouTube videos and stuff, like all of them happened within like October to February. And a good chunk of them did, and that's because I was going through my old catalog. I was getting it, putting the final spit and polish on it, and sorry, my mind went to a meme that's been going around lately. So putting a lot of spit and polish on it, and really getting getting it out there so people can access it, because that's the big thing about the internet. Everybody's out there. And as I like to say, you're not just competing with the people around you. You're competing with people all over the world since the dawn of recording, because the internet is this massive, instantly accessible archive of everything that can be captured inside of a video or a audio or a web page of some kind. So that's the reality of composing. Unless you're helping someone else make money, and you're not making money yourself. Or if you're helping someone cope with life to the point that you're worth being given money in order to help them cope with life, then you are making money from helping other people live. And I like to throw ideas out there and not have fully hash them out. But basically, as a composer, my only real hope of making money is to either sell my energy or sell the energy that I care less about, which is the programming energy, and then once I come here, then I can sell my music. Well, then I can make the music that I want to do. And hopefully y'all were able to glean some of the original intent behind that. So this is Victim of War. This is a track that's has been largely spurred by the stories I've been hearing in the past several years, really, about mainly the Russia-Ukraine war, but of course other conflicts that have been coming by, Israeli-Palestine, is another big one, but I'm focusing on Ukraine because that's where a lot of the local support is, and that's where a lot of the stories are. That's where a lot of the wow that sucks energy is coming from. So absolutely no insult to anybody else that is suffering. In order to produce this art, I need to focus on something, and that is where the bulk of the energy is coming from. That's where I'm putting my focus so that I can make this track. But my goal is to make it as generic as possible. Aside from a few elements like a quasi old church Slavonic, only quasi because it's so hard to find reliable resources for this stuff. Other than that reference, there's really no other specific reference to this conflict. I'm thinking it might show up in the cover art as well. That I'm still working out ideas when I'm not in the studio, but that needs to happen soon because release is happening soon. But that's where we're at right now. So Victim of War is my channeling my emotions of wow that sucks to be in a war-torn country or a war-torn area where you're trying to live your life as peacefully and happily as possible, and somebody somewhere is thinking that you're a bad person and they're trying to kill you. And they are killing people around you. They are killing your life. They're killing your peace. And that is absolutely reflected in the lyrics. This is my first and possibly only rap style lyrics that I'll do. Who knows, man? I love composing because it'll take it anywhere. But in this case, we're dealing with rap vocals, and I did a pretty solid best effort on my own, but it is not a skill I have developed. And pseudonym, when I sent out a call for help to Facebook, pseudonym, a guy I've gigged with in the past, he was like, hey man, I'll give it a shot. And so he did it, and it was awesome because he's actually good at it. That's where we're at today. So there's a few things I want to get accomplished in this track today. One is that I want to revisit what was done yesterday, give it the next day test, and see if it still sounds good. I already know that something's not going to be lining up right in the beginning. I haven't really had a chance to listen to the whole thing in its entirety, at least enough to be like, oh yeah, I need to tweak that. So we're going to listen to this whole thing, and I'm going to turn on Pseudonym's lyrics, but we'll make sure we're doing the. A lot of my friends and family that prefer not to hear bad words, four-letter words, curse words, the equivalents of heck and with the freak. They want to be able to. I want them to be able to hear what I've done without having to put themselves in an uncomfortable situation, even though the lyrics themselves, they're uncomfortable enough. But anyways, let's listen to this, and I'm probably going to try not to stop, but we'll see what happens. Oh my gosh. All right, there's like 3 things in there, but it's almost there. There is another thing that we'll need to do, but let me try to do this while I'm remembering it. So, at the very beginning, there was a spot where I wanted a double hit in the snare, and it didn't happen. And I'm going to mute a pseudonym for the moment so I can focus on the music, on the instruments. It's all music. Here we go. Oh, it is Polyplex that's doing that. Okay. So, let's pull up Polyplex. Let me get in here. Boom, 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 boom. And that's... Oh, wait a minute here. So there's two notes there, but I'm only hearing one. What the heck? It played at that time. Well, that's weird. I wonder if it's overlapping just a little bit. I'll give some separation there. So I'm not crazy. I wanted that there. You know what? It's the humanization. Oh man, I did not think about that. So I've got, when you're doing programmed drums like this, a thing you want to make sure you do is that you add a humanization on here, which let me just run that for you so you see what's happening. So this is happening, but after what you see here is the MIDI, and as we're going along, you see that output, timing, and velocity. And so what that is it's just adding a little bit of randomness to when things actually happen, or how loud they are when they happen. And so that makes sure that it makes it less mechanical, less pristine, clean, because that's it doesn't sound good. It's not good for a groove. We humans, we're not precise. I mean, we can be precise, but especially when we're in emotional music like this, we aren't going for precision. We're looking for jam, and that jam is very. We love the subtle differences, the subtle tweaks that happen that specifically a human performer would be doing. A human drummer's not going to always get it right there every freaking time within less than a sub-millisecond of precision. Computers can do that, but human drummers cannot. And when humans hear a non-human drummer performing, they can pick up on how precise it is, and it ruins the groove, it ruins the humanity, it ruins the emotion. And so that's why we need that humanity. But what I just noticed is that humanization caused, if there's enough happening there that it the previous note extends into the next note, then it ends up masking the second note, because the drum's not going to hit if someone's already holding a stick down on the drum head, which that's what the library is doing. Oh man, I hope that's not happening anywhere else, because I go through a lot of effort to program this stuff. I just wanted some randomization. I wonder if... I don't think I've got this problem with this library, because this library, the Stephen Slate drums, probably doesn't care about whether a note's still being held. Let's see if I can... Okay. Oh man, I can't do that. All right, let's just emulate it here real fast. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to layer a note on top of there. See, that library was able to handle the fact that it only triggers on the MIDI on, and it doesn't care about the MIDI off. And so that works fine. Good, because I was very worried I was going to have to do all that. Oh man, I never would have guessed that was the problem. All right, let's get back into Polyplex. I'm looking for any notes that are too close together that could get silenced by the humanization. There we go. All right, looking. In fact, let me go into a 1/32 grid, so it's a little easier to do that shortening. I'll have to do bizarre timings. I can just cut it in half. The nice thing is that it is a sample. Sound-wise, it doesn't make a difference if I hold it down or not. They're not triggering on anything I'm aware of. They're not triggering on me having that actually short or long. Because drums, no, there's no practical necessity for needing to be able to sound if someone holds down the drumstick too long. I'm sure there's some really cool effects that could come from that, but that's not the goal here, and that's not the goal the vast majority of the time we're making music. Okay, well, man, I'm glad we figured that one out, and that is fixed. All our close together repeated notes are now separated so that I can do this instead. That's wrong. That's the right direction. Okay. Shorten those up a little more. Now I've got my 30-second grid. Give it plenty of buffer room. I don't the humanization's not that aggressive because it is more in a more electronic style track. Boom, boom. That's good. All the Ableton Live folks are like, why aren't you using loops? And the reason is so that I can tweak it. And it's actually started as a loop, and then I glued it down so that I could add tweaks here and there. Here we go. So the drums are now working. What was the next thing that bothered me? Or am I going to have to listen to it because I can't remember anymore? There was one... there was a spot that sounded weird. Either approaching the dropout or approaching here. Let's just listen and see if I can catch it. No, that sounds pretty freaking good. So that sounded atrocious. The cymbals are doing something weird. It's not sounding good. So let's fix the cymbals now. I hate how the MIDI editor doesn't come up where my play point is. Minor annoyance. Okay, here is our nastiness. Yeah. So a real tricky part, especially in this kind of precision, boom, 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 is that cymbals have two hits, not just one. They have the ch, and then they have the sh. Let's instead of me singing it to you. Dun, dun, dun. And so what that is you have the initial hit, which is just this massive spectrum of different notes. Bop! Like you're hitting a table on a hammer on a table, like boom! And then you have the sustain, which comes from the shape of the cymbal. And there's certain frequencies that are going to be able to survive longer after the initial strike. The things that don't resonate with the cymbal are going to they're going to dissipate as mechanical vibration. Well, not real necessarily. They're going to dissipate a lot faster, as in some physics mojo, but they're not going to sustain. Other ones are going to sustain, and that shoo. Actually, that shoo is probably some of those odd frequencies. The energy is kind of getting absorbed, like the realigning of the pendulums. Though, if you have a bunch of metronomes on a moving platform, they'll actually sync up. I forget the name of the effect, but maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. And I'm not going to dig into that rabbit hole now. What I am going to do is deal with the fact that I'm trying to do very precise drum impact stuff with no, if there is sustain, it's ambiance, not something with a presence. And the problem I'm having when I listen to this segment, some of that actually sounds like compression from me overwhelming that. So let me address that first before I go rewrite my drums. There's that, but let me solo that. Okay, so some of that was compression, but it's still way too much cymbal. So let's at least deal with the way too much cymbal. So I've got a repeating thing. Bing, bong, bing. So right now it's kind of repeating. I mean, it is repeating the same melody. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. Sorry for any bad, sad memories that come from that. Bing, bong. We'll always remember you. Let's see. Let's get some context, see if we can figure out, because basically I think I need to add a shape to this, more shape than it has right now. Just bing bong is not working. It needs to go somewhere before landing on that psh. So what can we do here? Let's actually get the lyrics in here, because I need to know how much. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a crescendo. I could see a bit of a crescendo going on here. So, being done. Now, how do we want to shape that symbol? Okay, I want to keep that crash because that introduces the measure and the downbeat. But these two notes need to go. Bye-bye. And we're going to figure out how to fix a crescendo from there. I honestly don't love that there either. So let's get rid of it. But I'm hearing a tune tune. But it needs to be precise. And I think I've got some hi-hat going already. Yeah. But so maybe I can do a low crash. Ba-dum da. Needs to be more precise. So, do we have Polyplex doing something in there? Because I feel like there's another symbol going on. I'm not seeing it, so that's not where it's coming from. It might just be getting muddied up because of how this is happening. Because I've got the closed hi-hat pretty much the whole time going tut 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 tut. I freaking love it. It's so cool. But mixing that in. Okay, let's drop the speed here so I can get the groove. The song itself is running at 110 beats per minute, and there's a lot going on in every beat. Bum bum. So I don't like those being together. Let's see if that helped. Okay, that's getting a little better. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Okay, okay. Ba-dum, ba-dum. I kind of like that. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. I hate this sample because it's got a DC click at the end. But thankfully, it doesn't show up too much, if at all, when everything else is going on. But I actually muted the sample earlier, and I was like, why did that make any sound? And that's because the DC click was probably bothering me at some point. Alright, so ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Can I change it up a little bit? Because I don't love the repetition. Alright, let's see how that sounds. See, part of me wants that on the beat. I want crashes on the beat. And I know we're struggling with the fact that there's a second, it's multi-hit shape. Maybe. Bum, bum, bum. Let's make these louder. Not bad. Kind of a slam thing going on there. Brum, brum, brum. Now this is where I get myself in trouble because my ideas start going out. Let's get out of the tunnel vision and I like it. All right, let's hear it one more time. All right, bum bum da dun da dun da. I want another cymbal crash. Bum bum da dun da dun da. Drop that back down to 83. 83 is just what happened to happen. It sounds good. Hey, not bad. I don't like that second hit though. We need to do better. Maybe we can use the hi-hat there. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Dun, da-dun, da-dun, da. It almost needs to hit early in order to sound decent. Fascinating. No. If I just do a weaker hit. Maybe. A bit more context. Hey. One more time. Not too shabby. Where was the next spot?
Why are you tearing my world apart? Screw your hell. I've done nothing to you. Screw your hell. Go back home. Screw your hell. Didn't love me your own. Screw your hell. Just leave me alone. Life was better before you came along.
All right. So next and finally, before we get into the vocals, I want to clean up this intro a bit more. It's a little difficult, and it's not actually lining up 100%. Excuse me. Let's see. So if I mute my microphone or hide the I uncovered the wrong thing here. Monitor center, there, that's the one. So if I ever like blank out my camera and mute my microphone, because this is a hobby, and this my wife's studio is out back, she does belly dancing, and she has no reason to be inside these videos, so if she's coming by, I'll mute it and drop the camera, just so that she can have her privacy. But I don't care. I want to put my face out there because I think the music's cool and worth sharing. All right. So focus is a challenge sometimes, especially since this is like weekend thing. If I focus too much, then I kill the point of the weekend. It feels too much like a job. So we tweaked around with this yesterday, and the idea is that that's what I was looking for. The idea is that our intro is kind of long. I'm still not convinced I'm going to keep it this full length. Pseudonym has some artist introduction vocals that he provided that I think might help fill some of that time before the actual melody starts. But I'm really finding it's important that when the melody does come in here, that needs to happen on a downbeat. And it needs to be clear that it was the downbeat and not just be, that's the downbeat. We don't want that. The listener needs to be in sync almost the whole time, or especially if they're hearing it for more than the first time. The first time I'm okay with them being a little confused because that's kind of the idea is it is a little disjointed. It is a little like, whoa, where are we here? Oh, do. Oh, okay, there's a melody here. And then certainly by the time the drums come in with the boom, boom, chop, they need to, the listener needs to know where the downbeat is, period. Otherwise, you're going to be confused. And the moment you get confused, especially in a bad way, you're going to lose your listener. It's like YouTube, all these streaming platforms nowadays is like busking mode. You want to capture your audience and keep them there, because the moment you lose them for more than half a second, they can move on to the next gig and see what fun's happening over there. So you got to stay interesting. Again, money making is not my goal here. It would be nice because I have bills to pay and I'd love to spend more time creating this stuff, but that is not the goal, thankfully. Thank you, Lord. That I can, my day job does that. But the goal here is to make the music that I love, but in a way that other people can enjoy. Because truthfully, if I think about the listener enjoying it, I will enjoy it. So that's where we're at now. I want that downbeat. It needs to be transparent so that we're not like, it's not like boom, dun, 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 boom, dun, dun, dun. That's not the energy I'm going for. The energy is kind of like, whoa, what's happening here? And it also happens to be how I start like 90% of my electronic tracks, is some elusive loop of, because it's how I flow. It's like, hey, you, it's like the little magical fairy saying, hey, you, come over to this exciting little world I've got over here, fantasy world I got. So that's what we're doing now, but we still want that downbeat to be present. So maybe the first thing I need to do is just dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Just be a bit more obvious. Let's make that bum ba dum ba dum, because this is where it's not the strongest note against the backdrop, because it's not like a 1 or a 5. Yeah, it gets pretty lost in there, don't it? Let's just smack it. Harmonics are so wild. You hear about, as a composer, you'll hear about the cardinal sin of parallel fifths. And that's because that the fifth is, there's so many harmonics coming from the one that the fifth is kind of a freebie already. And if you put someone doing the fifth on top of the one, then they'll reinforce it a little bit, but in a lot of ways it just gets lost, and you're like, wow, they're singing but I can't hear them, or they're playing and I can't hear them, what the heck. So that's a very interesting example of where this particular note, there's enough other things going on that note is getting lost. Maybe I just need a bit different note, because that's just not jiving with me. Boom. I could do that. Let's see how it sounds. Hey, I like that. I like that. And that is actually at the 4 measure mark, because the downbeat's at 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, the new 4 measure. So an extra boom actually makes sense. And then the chorus comes in at measure 9, 4 measures later. And then that one's got do do. So let's hear that in context. Do I have humanization on that? Nylon Twitch, because I've already got humanization built in. There it is. No, I do not have humanization layered into this. So what you see is what you get for this particular track. Goodness gracious. I always complain about how old my computer is, but seriously, I built this thing in like 2016. No, because it was before I bought this house. This is like over 10 years old computer. I would love a better computer. All right, bro. Where's my FX window? Because that's what I want to see right now. Okay. Oh, of course, another complete control, which I... Okay, anyways. So, no humanization present. So, what we see is what we get. Let's get back to focusing. Once we're there, we're good. It's just really what's going on over here. I really want those downbeats to be stronger because they need to punch out of the mix. I'm gonna try just bumping up the volume, the velocity, aka volume. I don't love that note being there. I wonder... I like the note, I just feel like the timing could be a little better. Well, I certainly didn't like it there. Let's just leave it alone. Right, so that sounds really good. Next is we're going to load up Pseudonym's vocals. So he sent me a new track, um, basically taking all of our old ideas, pulling it in, and making it so that taking all the ideas that we discussed back and forth, and we're mostly going to throw out the original track and do the new track that he did, which incorporates all the ideas and some new ones that he had worked on. But this is going to be quite a project because he did a number of layers. The main vocal track, of course, but then a bunch of like backup singer tracks. So there's going to be, this list is going to get a lot longer. Okay, so what's the best way to do this? Let's add a new track. It's going to group the common. So the common is stuff that's just shared between the explicit and clean versions. And that shows up on both versions of the recording. And then we have, I really don't think I need that anymore. Because that was just him reworking the same stuff up there. I'm going to get rid of that track, do a little bit of housekeeping. Timing. Is that the same thing? Oh, that's right, because I was trying to mimic his timings without the background music. So I'm going to delete both of those. On the new line. And then that one was the new line, which actually needs to move up here because we changed the line pretty early on where I'd accidentally used the same word in two different lines to do the rhyming, and that wasn't very nice. But we're probably not going to need that anymore because this new vocals will have it, but I'll keep it there just in case. Then we have the chorus, which was my first stab at duplicating, doing some backup vocals using another take he did. I'm going to keep that in there. All right, and here's where we split up into the explicit and censored, where we've isolated very specific tracks. Now, how am I going to organize this? Because there's the backup vocals are also going to be explicit, so they need to be, they're not going to be common, but they need to be in here. So I need another group. So I'll call that explicit. Put a new track to close that group. And this is going to be explicit lead. And this will be explicit backup. I'll do the same thing over here. In fact, I don't have any FX, so I'm just going to duplicate. Censored lead. New track to close the envelope. There we go. And my Reaper just... No, I hit Control D. That's... Or Windows D. Okay. Censored lead. That needs to be a group. That closes the group. That actually needs to close 2 groups. There. I'll do a censored backup. Cool. So let's delete those because I don't need that. That was weird. Delete. I didn't want to delete all that. Let's try that again. Good old undo. Cool. I want to delete that. And that. Neg 12, that looks fine. I want to delete that. So right now, censored lead has the right stuff. Explicit lead. I was a bit more strategic in creating that one. So let's clean up involved. Well, that's at neg 12 as a parent. Oh, I need to fix the routing. Let's do that. It receives. Ah, man. So I actually got myself in trouble here, but let's fix it. Actually, we can simplify this now that I've got common grouped. Oh, this will be fun. Yeah. So what we're going to do is delete all these receives. We're just going to have it receive from pseudonym common. I don't want that at that level. Oh man, this is too complicated. Okay, we need another track. This will be common lead. And within that, we're going to have common clean, common explicit, where I've isolated the explicit lyrics and everything else is the same. So common lead is going to have that. And I'm propagating the parent's name because Reaper, last I checked, doesn't have a way to incorporate nested track names into a stem path. Common lead, common new line, which will be part of lead actually. And most likely all 3 of these tracks are going to go away, but I'm keeping them around for now. Now we have common chorus, which probably at least, yeah, I'm going to need to break that up too. So let's just go ahead and do it. Common chorus. And this is going to be common chorus 1. Sure. We call it 0. Since I'm a programmer. There we go. So we now have that. I really want a termination track here, just so it's easier to add and remove. There, that looks good. Hopefully no. Oh, there is. There's some shenanigans. Where do I need to cut this off? There. That needs to exit 2 layers. But let me just go ahead and add a termination track there, so that's a little easier to follow. Termination track. Let's just call it censored end. No, this is pseudonym end. Because I don't want it to, I don't want to accidentally click that instead of something else. Clear that envelope. Clear that envelope. There we go. Is there any way I can make that one track smaller? Because it's, guess not. Oh well. Oh, yes I can. Nice. I feel like that's not going to be remembered, but it'll work for now. So what I'm doing is just preparing for all this new content that's coming in. I want to make sure everything has a good place to be placed, so I'm not getting lost in the sea of audio files. All right, so we've got a common lead, we've got common chorus, we've got common overall, and how much you want to bet that's going to get rid of my heights. Oh, no, it looks like it's remembering it. Okay. Then we have our explicit lyrics, which I will not live stream. And the censored. There's going to be censored lead. There needs to be a censored chorus and explicit chorus. So let's get that added. Oh no, I call it backup, not chorus. I like chorus better, so let's rename it down here. Lead chorus, lead chorus. This is ultimately, we can keep a single track for lead because there really should never be more than one. If I'm not using it, it's not in here. It'll be up here. But the chorus will need to be a group because there will be multiple tracks going into that, probably. Insert new track. There we go. That is now a group with no content yet. To clear envelope. There we go. Explicit chorus also needs to be a group. Jump too early. There we go. Nope. Something messed up. Oh, that's not a folder. There we go. All right, so that should be pretty much drop in place at this point. let's see what we got here. So, so far, all the all the stems he sent me have been. I probably shouldn't do that kind of stuff without more care. Does that do anything? That's negative affinity. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we have clean vocal, raw. Okay, I think that's the stuff. Oh yeah. There's so much. So I'm not quite. I'm guessing this is a duplicate of what he sent me previously. Oh, of course. Look at the timestamps, John. There we go. So starting May 24th, which was yesterday, we have all these clean and explicit. I wonder if group is where he just already combined everything for me. I'll plop it into chorus and see. So we'll start with the clean since we're on this. Common lead. Okay, so we have 2 lead tracks, it looks like, and an ad lib, a whole bunch of ad lib. Oh, group might be the chorus. Okay, so this is all lead stuff. 1, 2, 7 items. So we need 7 new tracks in here. Oh boy. And then we're doing the same thing down here. Ay. 7 tracks, and then no group. 13 items. Okay. Oh, he's got 1A and 1B. That's what was messing things. Okay, so we need 13 new tracks in order to account for everything going on here. They don't need to be fancy. In fact, I wonder what that was. Just a little dynamic EQ to help match, I guess. Okay. So I don't need the FX on there. Let's throw new track. There we go. Anything neg 12. Yeah, let's kick that up to 0. All right, I'll do that 13 times. Goodness gracious. Insert multiple tracks. That sounds excellent. 12 tracks named. I'm doubt I'm going to stem at this level, so let's keep it simple. There we go. There's all our tracks. Let me set them all to 0 dB because the parent is going to be doing a lot of that attenuation. Cool. So that's where we're plopping everything. I'll do it one at a time just so that's precise. All right. Clean 1 and 2. Oh, hey, it's populating the name. That's lovely. Ba-dum. In fact, I might end up moving AdLib to its own section. All right, now we have explicit. See, that's where he does the artist name there at the beginning. Oh, hey, there we go. We finished importing all that. Now we have the chorus. I'll need to insert new track. We have 1, 2. So 1, 2, 0 dB because the parent's going to be doing the attenuation. I'll keep the envelope there though. In fact, let's pull that up to 0 dB too, and getting too complicated. -8. Here we go. So silence that and we'll kick it up as we need. Oh, get back over here. Do the same thing here. Oh, that doesn't line up. That's no fun. Let me fix that. I'll do this. Drop that down. Line that up. There we go. So now that does the attenuation, and that can go to full volume. So we're not double attenuating. All right, let's drop in these new tracks. We have clean group. I hope that lines up properly. There we go. Looks good. And then explicit group. I don't need to say specifically what it ends. I just need to say that it ends. There we go. Oh yeah, this has come together nicely. Yeah, let's do that. Squash you. I'm pretty sure I squashed these already, so it's not going to remember the heights. Can I just disable the track? Because I really want it to be obvious that this is not a functional track. I'm not seeing any sort of disable. I can mute it. That works. Cool. I want to group the ad libs together. Maybe. We'll find out. So I'm going to take a break, and I'll sort through all this, make sure that we're not going to broadcast any explicit words.